Hello, 8th grade. Thanks to your feedback, I've tried to increase the microphone level, so please let me know if it's still quiet because I bumped it up about half. Okay, so it was on 30, it's now on 60 type of thing. So if I have to push it up more, I will, but I just don't want to make sure that I blow out your headphones or something like that. Alrighty, so today we're going to be talking about one of the most important concepts in math called the Pythagorean Theorem. Okay, and Pythagoras was someone in ancient Greece who figured out something really important about right triangles. Okay, so this triangle down here is a right triangle, and you need to focus on this is only for right triangles. And we got to remember that, okay? Not very good at writing in capital letters here. I think I figured it out. Alrighty, so only for right triangles. What this says is if you have a triangle with sides A, B, and C, okay? This could be X, Y, and Z, or L, M, L, O, whatever. Okay, but if you have a triangle with three sides, this statement is true. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A couple things that are important. Number one, this means that the legs of the triangle squared are equal to the hypotenuse squared. The longest side on the triangle is called the hypotenuse. Oops. If I can spell, this is the hypotenuse, and each of these are legs. Okay, so it's important you know that each leg, A squared plus B squared, is equal to the hypotenuse squared. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Okay, we have two different sets of triangles here. The one on the left has 3 and 4. The one on the right is 9 and 11. Okay, we have X and Y as our hypotenuse, and we need to figure out what that hypotenuse is. Well, right away, they tell us that each of these are going to be right triangles. So we'll start with the one on the left. This is the longest side, this X here. So that means that everything else has to be on the other side. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals X squared. Okay? Well, we know that 3 squared is 9 because it's 3 times 3, not 3 times 2. So this is 9. We know that 4 squared is 16. So we end up getting 25. 25 equals X squared. Now here's an important thing. In order to get rid of this X squared, we need to do the opposite of squaring. So we do the square root. The square root of 25 is 5. And therefore we have X equals 5. Therefore, up here, the third side or the hypotenuse is going to be a length of 5. All right? You cannot do the square root until it's only X squared. A lot like if you had 2b equals 4. You can't divide until it's just 2b. Same thing with X squared or B squared or whatever. Okay, so let's look at the one on the right. Same thing. Hypotenuse is the one we're looking for. So we go 9 squared plus 11 squared equals Y squared. Okay, 9 squared is a little bit tougher. 9 times 9 is 81. 11 squared, 11 times 11 is 121. And those added together are going to be 202 equals Y squared. Once again, just like over here, we now have the thing squared by itself. So we do the square root. And so we get Y is equal to, well, here's a problem. 202 is not a perfect square. So we pull out our calculator. And the square root button is over here. Okay, so you got to go second, square root, 202, close the parentheses. And we get 14.2. So this one is 14.2. Important to remember, on these, the legs will always be shorter than the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse will always be the longest side. So this longest side always has to be longest. In this case, it's true. In this case, it's true. Let's do a couple more. Okay, I would like you actually to pause here and try these on your own, and then I'll give you the answer. These are just like the ones we just did. Okay, so welcome back. The one on the right, we go 6 squared plus 8 squared equals d squared. This is 36. This is 64. They add up to be 100. So then the square root of d squared is 10. The one on the right, we get 5 squared plus 9 squared equals c squared. It's 25. This is 81. Added together is 106. Now we do the square root. I do not know what the square root of 106 is, so I got to use my calculator. 10.3, because that 9 is going to round up the 2. There you go. So 10 on the left, 10.3 on the right. So let's try these. These are a little bit different because we have, if you notice, the A is not the hypotenuse. So now leg, hypotenuse. So we need to write 9 squared plus A squared equals 15 squared. Now we get a problem. We get 81 plus A squared equals 15 squared, which I actually don't know. I think it's 225. Oh, got it right. 225. Now, here's the problem. I said, and I'll repeat this again, you cannot do the square root until the squared term is by itself. So that means the 81 is on the same side. We have to think to ourselves, what is the 81 and the a squared doing to each other? They're adding. Therefore, we have to subtract the 81, which gets us 144. Yeah, 144. So a squared equals 144. Now we can do the square root. So we get a equals 12. And important to remember, once again, this has to be shorter than the hypotenuse, and it is. So the one on the right, same thing. This time we'll do 8 squared plus x squared equals 16 squared, because 16 is the hypotenuse. So we get 64 plus x squared equals 16 squared is 280 something? 256 is way off. Okay, so now we subtract the 64 because it's on the same side as the x squared. So we get x squared equals 192. Now we do the square root. I don't know 192. That forces the 8 to round up, so 13.9. 13.9. There we go. And that's shorter than the 16, so it makes sense. Alrighty. I want you to pause and try these on your own. We're getting close to the end, I promise. Okay, so we're back. So let's try this one on the right or left here. So we got 15 squared. I wanted blue. 15 squared plus d squared equals 25 squared. So we got some big numbers. 15 squared is 225 plus d squared equals something I have no idea. 25 squared. That's a big number. 625. So we subtract the 225. And we get d squared equals 400. Square root on both sides because the d squared is by itself. And square root of 400 is 20. Who knew? D equals 20. And that's shorter than the hypotenuse, so it makes sense. Whoops, messed up. There we go. And the one on the right here, we get x squared plus 7 squared equals 12 squared. Looks like I can do this one, mostly mental. 49 equals 144 and x squared. Once again, we have to subtract. So we get x squared equals 95 square root. X equals, I think this will be about 9.5. 9.7, because the 4 makes this 7 round down. And then we're done. Alrighty, so let's move on to the next one. So for this, if we're looking for the value of AC, that means that we have to identify that this is a right angle, which is nice. Then we're looking for this, so I'm going to place an X here. Okay, that means that we have to do, we have to find AB. So we start here, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we find BC, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're looking for the value of x, which we can do using the Pythagorean theorem. So that would be 7 squared plus 5 squared equals x squared. Okay? And if you need to know how to solve that, you can go back in the video. Okay? Because we've done examples like that a couple times. And the last slide is a story problem. Miss Chase designs a treasure hunt for 8B. She tells you you should start at the town water tower. That should say water tower. Okay? After walking exactly 50 feet north, you need to walk 75 feet east. You need to figure out how far away you are from your starting point because the prize is halfway in between. Alrighty? So let's draw a picture. We're starting at the water tower, is right there, and we walk 50 feet north. And then we need to walk 75 feet east. Well, east is going to be to the right here on my picture. So we go here, and that's 75. Then we need to figure out how far away we are from our starting point. Well, I noticed something here. This is a right angle, and this is our x. So we would do 50 squared plus 75 squared equals x squared. So then 50 squared plus 75 squared, I'm just going to do them together, give us 8,125 equals x squared. And now we simply need to do the square root on both sides. And the square root of 8,125 is about 90.1. So x equals around 90.1. Now if we go back to the question, first of all, this says that this is feet, and the prize is halfway in between. So that means we have to divide 90.1 divided by 2, meaning the prize is right about there, about 45 feet in between. Alrighty. So your assignments for this section are going to be on page 202 through 203, 1 through 16 even. 23, that's going to be 10 problems, so you need to get 8 of the 10 right there. 1 through 15 odd, and 24, that's 10 problems, so you need to do 8 there. All right, thank you.